wise men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodu Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The Three Wise Men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodu Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the Eko greeting tradition. The Three Wise Men, Arometa, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
SOUQ News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to SOUQ News.
So I'm happy that SOUQ TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the SOUQ News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think SOUQ News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and SOUQ News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Mase Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Her historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events, such as the Independence Day in 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching SOUQ News. If you're not watching SOUQ News, I pity you, but keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching SOUQ News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at SOUQ News. Guys, keep watching SOUQ News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, SOUQ News is your station.
The National Theatre, Igomu, built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, FESTAC, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of legendary contemporary Nigerian artists, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged FESTAC 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Expert Stroll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theatre complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of lush green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre, SOUQ Enlightenment.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you're on to SOUQ News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is SOUQ News.
Shout out to SOUQ News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
SOUQ News. Here's the SOUQ News, who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, SOUQ News. Thank you very much.
My name is Dr. Ajili Tobi.
My name is Etemere Glover.
Naomi, well done, and shout out to SOUQ News.
Shout out to SOUQ News. I want to encourage everyone to keep watching SOUQ News.
Shout out to SOUQ News, and yes, tune into them.
Keep watching SOUQ News. They are one in town.
Hey, we're watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News. Catch them on YouTube and all social media channels.
Hey, my name is Frank Edowo, and I'm imploring you. No, forget that. I am forcing you, coercing you to always stay tuned to SOUQ News for your news requirements.
Hello and welcome to SOUQ PULSE. It's nice having you today. The other day at the last episode, we were looking at Lekki Deep Sea Port and we're asking straight, serious questions. How can we replicate this development project that is a success? And that is what we do on SOUQ PULSE. We look at government policies, we look at international development agencies. We look at how do their activities or their policies affect business in various countries. We cross borders and get to see what are the trade partnerships that are helping, what can be tweaked, what can be done better, in what ways are we failing. We look ourselves in the face and we tell ourselves some bitter truths, if we say it that way, and we make changes. We might not be able to tell you directly what to do, but we look ourselves and tell ourselves, there is possibilities and positions to get better. Today on SOUQ PULSE, we will be looking at something nice. Something we looked at last Thursday. An aspect of development that people might take for granted, but we know that if somebody does something and does it very well, we need to look for how that can be replicated. We sit them down and we ask, how did you achieve this? How can my neighbor do it? And how can we do it better? So today on SOUQ PULSE, we are looking at successful entrepreneurial projects and persons behind this particular project. And we'll have them on SOUQ PULSE. We'll talk about it. We'll deliberate. We'll find where they failed. We'll find where they succeeded. And they give us a light on how to make things better. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, where you are, at any point in time, you know that, yes, if these people could do it, yes, I also can do it. It's SOUQ News, and here we look at positive programming. We don't dwell on negatives. We always look at tomorrow and say, yes, it can be better. When we return back, you will get to meet our guest, and this discussion will start. Don't go anywhere. You're still on SOUQ PULSE. My name is SOUQ, John Rogers SOUQ. Thanks for staying there. We'll be right back.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade, and later under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
SOUQ News is on the ground, loading.
very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to SOUQ News.
So I'm happy that SOUQ TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the SOUQ News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think SOUQ News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and SOUQ News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Olatunji Shoti. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, UNILAG. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching SOUQ News. If you're not watching SOUQ News, I pity you, but keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching SOUQ News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at SOUQ News. Guys, keep watching SOUQ News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. SOUQ News is your station.
Welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. So today on SOUQ Pulse, we will be having our guest. This is not his first time here, but we've not been able to sit him down and talk about his side of the business. So today we'll be talking with Emmanuel Abson. He happens to be the CEO of Tremor Agro. Yes, Tremor Agro Business Limited. It's not just a Nigerian business, it's also somewhere in East Africa. Several places in East Africa. So for you watching and thinking, okay, it's Nigeria and let's see how Nigerian businesses thrive. No, he's gone beyond these borders. So today we'll get to sit him down, talk to him, and see how he did this, and see where we can replicate, what we can learn, what we can live, and get to see a success story of a young person just like you. So hey, don't go anywhere. Hello, Emmanuel. Are you with us? Are you with us?
Yeah, hi.
Are you with us?
Yes, hi, SOUQ. Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. It's nice having you. How was having you? 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 How was having you?
Yes. Can you hear me, please? I can't hear you.
Okay. We are waiting to get that connection sorted. But we will be looking at his line of business. Just like I said, he has the Tremor Agro Services, and is something that has to do with agriculture. So a young, thriving man has got into that particular space and has done well in that space, not just for himself, but he has done well for both this nation and the other. So a lot of people are running away. Let me use that exact word, running away, shying away from agriculture. We see it as something that is left for people in the village, a farmer that has no name, something that doesn't really mean much, forgetting that the first necessity of man, by the time you count air, water, the next thing you look at is food. So there is value there. So Emmanuel, how are you doing?
I'm very fine. Now, can you hear me? Is it better now?
Far better from the first time. How are you doing, please?
Very fine.
Having you. So I always want to start from the basis. Let's start from the base. The first thing I want to ask you, Emmanuel, why agriculture?
All right. Why agriculture is because agriculture, first of all, I would say, is the first assignment God gave to us as man. He said, till the soil and keep it. So agriculture was the first occupation mankind was involved in. And when you look at food insecurity in Africa, how agriculture was like when I was growing up, I would say my father is a farmer. I came up from the lineage of farmers. My grandfather, it was like a family business. However, growing up, the way agriculture was looking was something we never want to be I never want to participate in because of its low revenue nature. It was like it's for poor people. The poorest people in my village then are farmers, and I wanted to start drifting from it. But however, when I went to university and I came back, I saw that agriculture is a space many of us don't know what the benefit is. So I had to come back with now understanding, with a better understanding, not just as a family business, not just as a culture, but as a business, giving me a better overview of what agriculture is, the value chain, the potential in this business, and the hidden truth. I'll say the hidden truth about agriculture.
Business is all about supply and demand. Now, for demand, when we look at agriculture, let's first go straight to food. Every living thing must eat, be it man or animal. We must eat. So that demand will always be there. So supply, farmers. Now, give us a brief on what your company does. What your company, what exactly do they do? What services do they provide? Then we go into our discussion for today.
All right. So Tremor Agro Services Limited is an ecosystem for agro innovations. We provide digital solutions for smallholder farmers. And when we select smallholder farmers is in Africa, smallholder farmers constitute over 60% of the farming population. So when you take a very good look at the agro ecosystem in Nigeria, in Africa, over 60% of the farming population are smallholder farmers. Now, and these smallholder farmers lack access to funding, lack access to market, lack access to basic infrastructures that should make them present. So Tremor Agro Services is set up to address these challenges that smallholder farmers encounter by enhancing their productivity and also profitability. So that's why we started the Tremor Agro Services so that our smallholder farmers too can adopt technology and also machineries. So what the services we provide for this smallholder farmer is farm clustering. So these farmers as a cluster, they can, as clusters, it's easier for them to access funding, to access basic technology, machineries, because it is hard for one farmer, a singular farmer, to have access to machineries. So maybe because of the cost. Now, because most of these machineries, they are highly expensive. They are intensive. If you want to do agriculture, it is capital demanding. So when we form this cluster, we now have what we call sharing of cost of production. So when we share the cost of production as a cluster, as cooperatives, not the cooperative that is more announced in Nigeria. Most of our cooperatives in Nigeria are cooperatives that are formed, maybe there are, when we say there's government intervention. So all of us want to go and start a cooperative. We want to start cooperative because we want these interventions. Then one man will bring his family, his children yet unborn, and form a cooperative that has ghost members, so that they can benefit from the interventions that is said to be available. So that is not the kind of cooperative we're talking about here. We're talking about cooperatives that are members, that are farmers. We're bringing farmers together, actual farmers, real farmers together, to share cost of production and also share cost of then also share the risks and also benefits that comes from such kind of farming. Then also access to market, because when we do mass production, it gives us access to the market for us to have control over the market. So we're also now giving farmers the selling power. Everybody talk about the buying power. People don't talk about the selling power. So when you come to this community, for example, when the way they sell is, so they are selling at the mercy, so they are at the mercy of the buyer. But when we do mass production, we can also now move from selling as individual, satisfying the local market, and also exploitation. So these are the services we provide. Lastly, access to funding, because as cooperatives, it's not easier for them to access loan, which members can become guarantors to themselves. It's now easier for them to have a cumulative collateral for them to access funding. So this is the services we provide for smallholder farmers.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel. It took me, I had to break everything you were saying in bits. I couldn't jot down that fast, but I understand every single thing you've said. Now, let's look at it from this aspect. You've worked in Nigeria, you have a firm working presently in Nigeria, West Africa. Now, you've also diversified and gotten to Rwanda and that particular side of Africa, East Africa. Now, let's look at these farmers. Do we have similar issues? Do farmers here in West Africa and East Africa, do they face similar issues?
Yes. Africa, even look at the agro ecosystem in Africa, we face similar issues. Most of the farming activities that happen in Africa are driven by manpower, not machinery. They are driven by experience, not knowledge. Like I'm from a family of farmers, just like I said, my father is a farmer, my great-grandfather is a farmer, my grandfather is a farmer. So it's a cultural thing. So when we say agriculture, it's like a cultural thing. So these farmers, most of these farmers don't have the knowledge. There's a level of skilled gap in the agricultural ecosystem in Africa. So the same issues we have here is also issues we have all over. However, some of the challenges might not be of the same volume. A way some other countries are already mitigating those risks. So the same challenges, but in different phases. Let's say, for example, in Rwanda, one big challenge of agriculture is shortage of rainfall. Then also a high level of poverty among the citizens, even when they have access to capital. Then when some of these farmers have access to capital, another challenge, like I mentioned earlier, is that farming is more of manpower, not machinery. So when we are doing manpower,
okay, hello, Ima. If you can hear us, we want to continue this conversation. You've dealt and really touched on several things that make farming, that make young people shy away from farming, and that has to do with the manual form of farming that we engage in this part of Africa. You see a family go to the farm with their hoe and cutlass, and it's all about the muscle in your arms and your legs as far as it can carry you. When you deplete the sugars, then you're done for the day. You repeat the next thing the next day, and it doesn't give you that ability to be able to cultivate as much as you can. And it just doesn't make it something that you want to go study, come back to do. But if we're able to go and come into groups and have some form of machinery, do some of these jobs, it makes life easier. It makes production easier. You can even produce more, farm more, cultivate more. That's just one part of it. And we're also waiting to hear from you to talk about several other issues that you've faced, be it here in Nigeria and also in Rwanda. So for everyone that is tuned in and listening to us, don't go anywhere. For those that are early mornings or early weeks or early months, you dust up your CVs and go looking for jobs somewhere. I think it's right time we start looking at, hey, that farm somewhere or that large expanse of land somewhere, what can we do? What can we grow? If you can put food on your table, that's less expensive. If you can now take that food and take it to the market, that's money in your pocket. And as it stands right now, we all know what rice costs in the market. Talk much of the yam that used to be very cheap before. So let's start looking at this side, production. What's the easiest thing that we can do? Farming is not that difficult. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is in no doubt an astounding work of art. originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodun Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta. The three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers, knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The Three Wise Men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the eco-greeting tradition. The Three Wise Men, Arometa, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Dr. Ajili Tobi.
My name is Etemari Glover. Naomi.
Well done, and shout out to SOUQ News.
Shout out to SOUQ News. I want to encourage everyone to keep watching SOUQ News.
Shout out to SOUQ News, and yes, tune into them.
Keep watching SOUQ News. They are one in town.
Hey, we're watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News. Catch them on YouTube and all social media channels.
Hey, my name is Frank Edowo, and I'm imploring you, no, forget that. I am forcing you, coercing you to always stay tuned to SOUQ News for your news requirements.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade, and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, SOUQ Enlightenment.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you're on to SOUQ News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is SOUQ News.
Shout out to SOUQ News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
SOUQ News. Here's the SOUQ News, who had the courage to transcend a locked-off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, SOUQ News. Thank you very much.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
SOUQ News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to SOUQ News.
So I'm happy that SOUQ TV has come into existence. I'm happy to be here in the SOUQ News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think SOUQ News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and SOUQ News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Keep watching SOUQ News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching SOUQ News.
Thank you for staying there with us, and welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. We're still here and we are talking to Mr. Emmanuel Abuson. He is the CEO of Trema Agro Allied Limited, not just in Nigeria, but also in East Africa. And we've been discussing about his success stories and his ability to make his company grow and provide and put food on the table of Nigerians and East Africans, Africa as a whole. Now, Mr. Emmanuel, how are you doing?
Yes, fine. Sorry for the network disconnection.
We understand. Now, let's get back straight to our talk. How was it possible? How easy was it to get the farmers to trust you? Because you are looking at being able to aggregate a whole large number of farmers, subsistence farmers, and get them to work as not just a group, but as a cooperative. It's possible they might not even know the other, but you, for one, they got to meet you for the first time. So how was it easy to get them, and how was it easy for you to make them trust you, to work with you in the first place?
All right, yeah, so the first one, I think for Rwanda, one of our edge was working with their stakeholders, especially with the Rwanda Development Bank. It's a bank that, Rwanda have an open system government that with your ideas, you can book an appointment to even see a minister, and you be obliged to meet with the person. It might even take like 24 hours appointment for you to meet with the minister. So they run an open system government. So having this kind of system was easier for us to write our proposal, call for a courtesy call, discuss, engage stakeholders. Now, the people of Rwanda believe in their government, not like Nigeria, where there's a level of distrust between the government and the people. So the Rwandans believe in their government. They take their government very serious, and the government of Rwanda take their citizens very serious. So after engaging the stakeholders, through the stakeholders, we're able to engage with farmers. So it's like a top to bottom kind of approach. So however, on the other hand, in Nigeria, we also had to start from the bottom up. So Nigeria is more like, it's easier to start from the bottom to get up, because you might want to have, you can write a letter to a particular ministry and it will take days, months. In fact, sometimes you might not even have a response. One of the things that amazed me was the fact that I sent an email, and in 72 hours, I got a response from that particular agency working in Rwanda. So, and it was easier for us to also scale in that country. Now, then, however, in Nigeria, we have to start engaging with smallholder farmers. They were engaged farmers here in Nigeria. So that is the model. So the two regions we had different kind of method of entry. So at Nisha, when I return back to Nigeria, we're trying to use the model we have in Rwanda to penetrate the market. Until I had a conversation with my mentor, Ambassador Victor Wash, and he said, "You see what you're going to do? Target these farmers. target the farmers, target the cooperatives, then it's easier for you to be able to scale in the market. And that actually did help us. And again, I also said that a mentorship is also something that actually help us to scale up in our business.
Now, let's go straight to this. How has some of the challenges you set out to solve, how has it changed over time?
Yeah, okay. Gradually, I'll say it's enhancing farmers. Like most of our farmers, it has been able to give us an avenue where we do mass production, because the aim is to mass produce. Because if we're tackling food insecurity, we have to do mass production, because the demand at the moment is higher than the supply. So when we do mass production, then we can now start talking about market, then also having a level of impact. So I'll say in terms of production, it has helped us, and also even facilitating loan. So we have some financial institutions right now that are like, okay, you have this number of farmers, so we can work with you. For the sake of how will I put it, not exposing some of our partners, I would not want to mention it, but in terms of financial partnership, we're getting that at the moment, both local and international funding partners, because of the number of farmers that we have in our clusters.
What number? What if you say the number of farmers? Like, can you give us a size? Can you give us a number?
Okay, at the moment we have over 60,000 farmers now using our platform.
60,000 farmers in Nigeria or in Rwanda, or on both sides?
In Nigeria. Then when we're talking about total, we're talking about we're not getting close to 100,000 farmers.
100,000 farmers. Are we looking at 100,000 farmlands or 100,000 farmers farming together, or
individual
individually?
Farmers. Individual farmers. Yeah, individual farmers. Individual farmers.
Okay. Okay. Now, how do we get this? How do you get this 100,000 and match them with farmlands? Or they already have their own farmlands, or you also make provision? You have a way of getting some plots for them to farm on, or they have theirs already?
Okay, so most of these farmers have their farmers, meaning they have farms already. What we only did was to form them into clusters to enhance productivity, to enhance their productivity. And again, like I said, for them to share costs. Meanwhile, there are other states want to do some pilot tests, like Kaduna State, for example. We are negotiating for 1,000 hectares. And this is basically not for farmers that are already into the business, but for young people. So 1 hectare, 1 youth, 1 hectare, 1 youth. Again, this is for us, is like creating employment, creating job opportunities for these young people. So they have access to land, then also access to funding. So we have financial partners that are ready to fund these farmers. So like I said, we're running a pilot test in Kaduna State. We are in conversations with the Kaduna Agricultural Development Agency under the leadership of Really Mohammed. So this for us is also to boost production. So we're talking about 1,000 youths, 1,000 hectares that for the first pilot phase. So imagine what we're going to do in the next 2-3 years when we can have government partner with us to provide land, while we provide land and young people, and we create this access to funding, create access to market. And the more numbers we have, also boost the confidence, boost investors' confidence to invest in agriculture. Again, this cluster have what we call, we're factoring security to this project, that the land will be secured, the farmers there will be secured. So the issue of insecurity will be actually dealt with this format. So this is currently what we are doing. So it is farmers having their farmland, and we bring them into cluster so that they can share costs, and also then share benefits.
Okay, that's
to
good.
Enhance
now
food
I want to ask you
to
this.
enhance productivity.
Well, it's a bit on a lighter note, but it's very serious. Why is farming not appealing? Why don't the young people find it, let me use the word, sexy?
All right. It's very simple. When an average Nigerian talk about agriculture, we talk about poverty to the mind. So it's first of all the mindset. And you cannot blame them. You see, what we grow to see, we gradually believe it and we become it. So when you go to the rural areas where these farming activities are happening, most of these farmers are with rags. They are wearing clothes like that because they think they are going to farm. So they are wearing rags. They look too close to mad people. So an average young person is looking at escape. I don't want to be a farmer. And that is why we have rural-urban migration. People leaving the rural settlements to go to urban centers, sometimes get there to become motorcyclists, riding tricycle, because they feel like the life in the urban center provides more advantage for them compared to those in the village. The access to education too is quite low for people in rural settlements who are involved in agriculture. So they have not seen agriculture in terms of mechanization, in terms of technology. Young people are not the one driving it. It's driven by old people using experience, just like I mentioned earlier, using experience instead of knowledge. When I mean knowledge now, I'm not talking about just going to the university, going to school, but knowledge in an holistic view of knowledge, that the mind is empowered. We have mental empowerment, we have social empowerment, then financial empowerment. I have a triangle I call.
Okay, Sam, I think your network is still giving us issues. And he was talking about why he thinks farming is not appealing, which that particular mindset needs to change. If we need to compete, then that mindset needs to change. Hello, Sam, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm with you. Can you hear me?
Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward a bit. I'll ask you this straight question. Yeah. Looking at what's happening right now, do you think Africa can feed herself like now? Okay, we will be joined by our in-house analyst, and some of these straightforward questions, he will get to take it up and also be able to give us a form of policy statement at the end of this particular, I call this a project. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're going on a short break, and SOUQ Pulse will be right back. Stay there.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State, on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with the Daily Service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as executive governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakonde. SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Olatunji Shoti-Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching SOUQ News. If you're not watching SOUQ News, I pity you, but keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching SOUQ News. Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at SOUQ News. Guys, keep watching SOUQ News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, SOUQ News is your station.
Yes, welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. We've been talking with Emmanuel Abson. He is the CEO of Trema Agro Services, and he told us how he was able to aggregate farmers, large numbers of farmers, and they've been able to do exactly what they set out to do, farmland, not the manual type anymore, been able to introduce mechanized farming, not just in Nigeria, but also in East Africa, in Rwanda. And this is more of production. Before we lost him, we were looking at a straightforward question before our in-house analyst came in. Can Africa feed herself? We're looking at now, before now start looking at projections. So, sir, I put the same question to you. As we speak right now, can Africa feed herself?
Absolutely. Africans can feed themselves if we have the right
Is it
policy.
the if?
Yes, there's a condition, because the way we are wired currently, particularly from the youthful population who are supposed to be a part of the farming community, are not really geared towards farming. So that's why I put some condition. But we have the arable land that can feed us as a people. Maybe what we may have as a challenge currently, maybe some new technologies to enhance farming practices. But by and large, I think we can feed ourselves.
Okay, Africa can feed herself. We have the land, we have the numbers of people to farm the land. Then we need mechanization. How can we get these people to get interested in farming? Now, talk as a Nigerian.
No, I think the issue really is providing the right framework, the right environment, and the right education for people to go to the farm. Is a very lucrative business, but we have this syndrome of a white-collar job as opposed to blue-collar job. So when we have that kind of mind shift to see agriculture as an investment that is sustainable and that you can earn a good living, then the paradigm will change over time.
Okay, let me break it down. 2022, yes, we imported 18.6 million metric tons of rice, just rice alone. And that amounted to billions of dollars. So we are looking at, I'm not talking about just Nigeria. Is it possible to cut this by half? We have the land here. We have the people.
Is it even possible to eliminate it completely? If we have the right mindset.
If we can eliminate it, that means that money is getting into the pockets of people in different
within
locations.
Yes.
So what is stopping us?
I think I just spoke to some of those issues, and I had Dr. Mentioning those points earlier. What we need is the right leadership for us and as a people to key into that kind of leadership that we can feed ourselves, we have what it takes. And this idea of importing items, including food, we must find a way to reduce it completely. If not, take it out of our own environment. So we have what it takes to have what we call food security. We have the land. Perhaps what we don't really have is new technologies. And personally, I'm against some of those new technologies, not in terms of mechanized farming, in terms of the improved seedlings that are genetically modified seedlings. So I have some issues. But if we have the right campaign and like the type the doctor just mentioned, the right advocacy, we're able to organize farmers into cooperatives. We support them with information. We support them with financial services. I'm sure that within a short period of time, we should be able to feed ourselves.
Okay, let's close on this. Now, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, we are neighbors. Okay. Nigeria has lands that it supports the growth of rice, lot of it. Cameroon, Nigeria have lands that support the growth of cocoa, maize, corn. When you go upper north, you now see lands that support millet. Can we look at it as this way? Hey, grow your millet. Grow all the millet you can grow. We grow all the rice you can grow. Cameroon, grow all the maize you can grow. Let's come to a common market. If we can't barter, at least we trade in advantage. That way, even the West and Asia, they know that we don't need much of what they are bringing this way. Is this something that we can say, let's explore?
Absolutely, it can be explored. You're just talking about the concept of factor endowment and comparative advantage in international trade. So where you have comparative advantage, you should focus more and take advantage of what you call economic of scale to be able to produce optimally. So within Africa, once those who are factor endowed in terms of certain particular resource, you should be able to invest in those areas. They will bring those commodities into a common market where we can trade effectively among ourselves to sustain food security in terms of business development and even sustain the agricultural value chain over a period of time. I think it's doable. We just need the right commitment from citizens and government in that direction.
Okay, yeah, I guess in the last 2 days, let me not say in the morning, in the last 2 days, you that is watching us and our guest, everyone has had food to eat. Before you ate the food, you didn't look for the president or look for who is your governor or tell him why is there no food. You made sure that you had food to eat, which means if you set out to do something right, you will do it. You don't need a push to do it, because if you didn't need a push to eat, then you shouldn't need a push to do the right thing. Here on SOUQ News, we are all about positive programming. Sir, before we leave, I will want you to make a kind of policy statement. What is that particular thing? You're not just the government right now, but you're talking to everyone that is watching us. We can't keep depending on Ukraine, East Bloc, for wheat, when we have over 12 states that can produce wheat here in Nigeria. We can't keep depending on Asia for rice. We can't keep depending on Malaysia for palm oil, something that we can do, something that Africa can do. We can't keep, I'm talking about agri products right now. Let's get to hear it. Like, use your angry face.
Okay, I think for me, governors and other political leaders must focus on how we can develop the agricultural ecosystem that will benefit everybody. So this idea of political projects, grandiose projects that most governors and political leaders embark on, is a need to focus on how we can develop the agricultural sector for the benefit of the greater majority. Two, from the perspective of rural sociology, this rural-urban migration must be reversed, where people from the urban center need to go back to those rural areas. Once those incentives are provided, maybe you have what you call farming clusters. Government develops some kind of infrastructures as incentive that will pull people back to the rural areas so that they can partake in agricultural activities. To that extent, we can sustain food security. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, it's doable. It's something that we need to have a collective resolve to do as a people, particularly in Nigeria and Africa at large. We have what it takes to feed ourselves. And this overdependence on imports, the pressure on the foreign exchange regime, is something the governors and the federal government must recalibrate so that we can have value for our people, for the common good of the average citizen.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. There is no need of adding any extra line to this. You heard every single word I've been saying. I will say thank you for tuning in on SOUQ PULSE today. We'll be back tomorrow. See, my name is John Rogers Chooks. Bye.